Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Endless Legend, where as you can see, Purple's whole situation is maybe like a little bit out of control. I don't I don't really know what Pink is doing. It doesn't seem like Pink's border has changed much at all over the course of the last couple of episodes, right? Like, they're at war with Red, but I wonder if I've sort of like, by befriending everybody and sort of like forging this web of positive, diplomatic, shared friend associations, I wondered if I've created a situation where there's like this coalition that has everybody except the necrophages in it to some degree. And so the necrophage player is afraid to declare war on most people because it's like, wow, but then I have to fight everybody. That's not going to work. Or it might just be that Purple has scaled completely out of control here. Let me quickly have a look. Purple and as always, the roving clans. The roving clans always end up with such a powerful army. Well, whatever. It's working out for us so far, as long as Purple doesn't declare war on us and then continue to do a war on us. That would be bad. So for the moment, we are just pursuing, right? We're trying to finish these lab tools, which cost like 82. Well, they got a little bit of progress on them now, but yeah, 6,200 dust. And we're gearing up for the greatest empire plan that Auriga has ever seen, which is, almost entirely superfluous. Superfluous, probably. There's probably a bunch of parts of that we don't need. But I do like having all of the military stuff in it just in case, because if we do get declared on in a way where we can't afford to push them back, it is going to be important for us to actually be able to fight, and that sort of thing gets less likely if our base values are higher, right? If it's just the numbers on all of our things. We don't really... Do we need more influence production? I'm debating whether I would rather have more science. I guess I'm going to need influence to make deals, but also I need science to make... the science is going to convert into influence when we finish that tax, so... a vision embargo from Purple, totally fine. So this is a lot of people, like, sort of regarding us as a danger and kind of sort of taking steps to back us off, but, like, not in the ways they need to be, right? We should definitely get modernized administration. That's a thing we ought to have. Dust enhanced buildings, also probably on the list. And then, yeah, for the moment, we just keep on as we are keeping on. Search ruins. It's nice that our units can actually heal now. That's a cool change of pace. $150 dust, fine. Hey, wait a minute. This did Purple run into my territory and volcano form part of it while I wasn't watching? I think they did. That's kind of annoying, actually. We should maybe close borders with them. They can't be trusted. That said, I do want to search more ruins in their territory. Yeah, please don't... Purple. Please don't volcano form my stuff. I can't actually do that because of the alliance, I assume. You can't have close borders while allied. Yeah, that makes sense. That's a reasonable way for that to work. Well, it turns out there's nothing I can do to stop them, so let this be a lesson to all of you out there. If you have a Draken player in your game who is annoying you, who is threatening real victory progress, and who you do not seem to be able to get out of an alliance with because they keep forcing alliance on you, just volcano form their entire country. That'll show them. Dragons hate volcanoes. Everybody knows this. This was the plot of the movie Reign of Fire, if I'm not mistaken. Wow, I haven't thought about the movie Reign of Fire in a really long time. It's like, did that... Was that actually a weird dragon movie starring Christian Bale and Matthew McConaughey? Did that actually happen, or did I dream it? What a concept. Alright, I do think that we should go back home now. We're just getting a little far from home. It's making me a little nervous, and also I would love to not be in volcanic territory anymore, because it would be super cool if my units could heal a small amount. A deal. Nope. I am not declaring war on the necrophages. Why does everybody want me to do this so badly? Like, the worst thing that could happen for any of us is for the necrophages to win some battles. The second they start getting battleborn and whatnot, like it's gonna kick off a whole series of events that none of us want to be party to. All right, so that gives us what we need to finish off the lab tools. And then we probably, at this point, should, get out here and get, mayhap a 17 science anomaly. That seems pretty okay. Yeah, buy that out, too. We can probably buy out, well, no, that's a pretty serious building. That's going to take some doing. And, of course, we're still kind of desperate for a whole bunch of different resources. Do we have adamantium income? It seems like it's just... Yeah, okay, we do. A tiny, tiny little bit. We have the good palladium from the intensifier, but... Alright, so winter approaches as the eclipse ends here. The winter effect, super irrelevant to our entire deal. We do have boosters running out that I maybe should actually care about. Artem loves scientific literacy. Just an extremely good skill. Let's hold on a second. Let's see about these luxuries. So there's not enough dust water to rerun the dust water. We're gathering dust water, but only very slowly. Oh, there's plenty of spices though. We could refire this booster for sure. And we absolutely should. At some point, the dye ran out as well. Oh, and we got stockpiles. Cool. I do love stockpiles. Where are we going to? Probably here, yeah? So, what is next? What is the next most important thing to build? Artem still needs... Did we do our climatology guild yet? We haven't. We're a little bit short titanium. Hooray for 3 titanium on the market. I think this is of some import. And then, like, given that this is the city where all of the real science output is happening, I'm wondering if maybe this is where we put down the food stockpile as well. Yeah, I'm going to. Let's just really jam on this. So do I want Dunedan to pour all that into the Royal University? You know what? Actually, I think so. Actually, I'm fine with that. Let's buy out your borough streets. Oh, you know what I didn't look at while I was in here? Okay, just seeing if any new stockpiles had showed up. I don't exactly know what the logic for that is. Just, every once in a while, more appear. It'd probably be a good thing for me to learn. But for the moment, we'll just keep checking. We'll just keep looking every once in a while. Okay, look at how good our healing rate is, because we did get that legendary deed. Am I really gonna have to walk through lava for this? No, we can go around here. I'll just go around this way. Although, okay, there we go. The AI really wants to find any excuse to walk through that lava river. My troops just love it. Contrary to earlier belief. Turns out dragon people love lava and volcanoes. I know, all of our scientists are baffled by it. So we are tearing through these texts pretty quickly, but we know that we're way behind on science. right? Like, there are other players who are probably getting close to their second victory tech, potentially. We should check in on Purple. Hey, Purple. How is that whole thing going? Scientific... Okay, no, they're still at 20%. The AI does seem to get distracted a little bit. I think a lot of the time they finish a victory tech without the intent of going for a science victory. So it's not the science tech, it's just like they're picking up, you know, the dust tech or the military thing or whatever. So I get really nervous about how long it's going to take them to finish teching out when I see that, but it's not always really the right thing to be nervous about. I should be concerned about what they are thinking about doing with the tech that they are earning. You know, the same way that they should feel that thing about me. And I've talked before about how I don't feel it is particularly safe to to just run multi-turn sea routes because, you know, your ships will steer into weather and stuff. But like, I really don't think that it's too much of a danger for this ship. The ship's pretty fast, and also we sort of kind of don't let the crew hear me say this, but sort of kind of don't care if they wreck, like, you know, whatever. Okay, so how many techs off are we now? Is that 3? Indeed. We have really great weapons tech. We don't need to worry about that. We could grab more dust to give us more... we don't actually need state-approved theater, which is nice. Our empire has remained pretty compact here. So yeah, we could pick up some of this kind of stuff in theory to have more things to trade with, but obviously the concern there is whether we would actually ever be able to build these, and I think probably probably not. Apologies, by the way, for the state of my my clearing my throat here. I am having a little bit of a tiny flare up of my esophageal thing. You know, prisoners, slaves, and volunteers is like definitely worth having. I'm buying stuff out all the time. I'm not going to buy out anything this turn. We're going to wait until we get that buyout cost reduction. Yeah, that tech is definitely broadly worth picking up way earlier than I pick it up. I think that is probably a thing that is worth pointing out. I do not prioritize it highly enough most of the time. Believe it or not, there may be some tiny errors in my play, just little ones. Okay. So that's a warning from Red. This is a commercial embargo from Red, which I think would have been cheaper if they had waited a couple of turns post-warning. But it's interesting. Everybody's making these moves that are like, diplomatically, they're like intentionally distancing, right? They're telling us that they do not enjoy our presence, but at the same time, they're not actually breaking the alliance, which I think is very weird. So we've grabbed all of the easy to get anomalies, and the city does have an abbey already. Yeesh, look at the output of that tile. It's just a beautiful thing. So I'm sort of wondering about. I think we're gonna build up out to here because all this city really needs is more anomalies. Plus, this gets us another ruin. Huzzah! Yep, you're going where you're going. Please don't get hit by lightning, or do, you know, kind of whatever. And then at this point, I guess the only thing to do is to sort of go back to center. Away from the lava, please. Wait for winter and hit those pearls. Oh, right, and we got our empire plan in place. So the question now is, No. I'm gonna wait. I was gonna say, should we at this point start making deals so that we can start building up our diplomatic point buffer? But I think I want to wait until UEC, because I think that the diplomatic point gained from this is going to affect diplomatic points gained from deals, right? It doesn't say it won't. So let's maybe try to just get the absolute maximum value out of each point of resources that we commit. By the way, this right here, this is what a volcano former looks like on the on this level of map zoom. So this is what to keep an eye out for, to see if we are getting volcano formed actively. At least I think that's... If that is a volcano former, yeah, it totally is. It's a little oddly placed. Well, I guess it's because some of this is already changed. I was gonna say, like, they're overlapping. They're already volcanified area, but I guess that was gonna be the case no matter where they put it, because of the shape of that area. Okay, so there's the notification. Everybody now knows we are doing the thing. The heat has been generated. I guess let's get the other reinforcement positions. Probably not hugely relevant, but could matter for the sake of, like, getting the lice into a battle quicker or something. So dismiss that. Everybody's leveling up, which is wonderful. Even more science from anomalies. Never enough. Yep, never let the Titan bones run out. And so for the moment, what we are doing mostly is just stacking as much influence as we can, right? This is a cool time for religious fervor to happen too. We usually see that occur much earlier in the game. So you're level 2 already. You're not level 2 already. Shouldn't you be? Oh no, because that's a ruin. That's not a district. Well, then build one here. Level that up. And then over here, I definitely want to build the first arts council that we have resources for. Oh yeah, pixie blood, I don't care about that. Pay attention to stockpiles and stuff. In theory, we should have a science stockpile finishing, in Dododan relatively soon. And every little bit helps. Yeah, for the moment, I guess just chill. Alright, well, that's enough hydromiel to run the booster when it runs out again, so that's cool, I guess. What we're really hoping to find in ruins at this point is tech, just to accelerate the beginning of the UEC here. Never mind, that was actually the last. We were working on the last one already. Then what we are hoping is to not find any tech, and I am hoping it to such a degree that I may in fact just not search any more sea ruins, because that is a thing that does happen sometimes. Okay, blue is building a temple of the Earth's core, and they finished a victory tech at the same time, and if that victory tech is the industry one, we might be in some trouble here. I have played a very passive game, and we have actually no way of affecting. I guess you know what I could have done? What I could have and should have done was purchase spies. Because we have vision of a lot of players' stuff. So there are no Forgotten on the market, but we could hire a Morgar, and they're pretty good at spying. And you know what I definitely have is the influence necessary to insert a spy into a town. So where do you think? Ahriman? It is not Ahriman, but Ahriman is building an industry stockpile. Am I allowed to pull you? No, I can't pull you out for 5 turns. Okay. I should also actually, allocate some skill points for you. Actually, pretty good. I mean, these are terrible, but they get us toward Lord of the Trance, which is the only skill that I'm really interested in here. Yeah, that's a danger. They could potentially finish a wonder very quickly, I think. And we are not close to our victory type. That said, it's not necessarily on us to stop them. Other players may do things. Everybody can see those victory notifications. And they did generate 2 at the same time. That's a lot of noise. That's a lot of heat. But also, we've created this big, weird diplomatic situation where everybody's afraid to declare war on everybody else. I need purple to declare war on blue. I think we need that. They'll declare war on red for free. Oh. Oh, sorry. No, this is me to... Yep, sorry. No, I need you to do it. Yeah, see, they don't even consider that to be a very expensive prospect, honestly. You already have a victory tech, so I don't feel too bad giving you more technology. Especially something like cargo docks, which is not going to aid you toward a victory tech. Yeah, I'll just buy you into war on blue. Declare war or cold war on an ally or break a truce. Huh. That's interesting. Because I sure didn't declare war. I guess this counts. Me causing somebody else to declare war is good enough. That's weird. It's weird that works that way. Is there anybody else that we want to try to rope into that war? I'm not allowed to make that kind of negotiation with pink because you have to be at least at peace with somebody. So, good luck, purple. You have a huge army and you're terrifying, and that's the only person that you're at war with, right? So you can devote all of your resources. Oh, you're also at war with pink. Okay. Well, let's hope that works, because we don't actually have another play. I certainly can't go down there and stop them myself, especially since I don't know which city we're talking about. And declaring war on them myself would be counterproductive. You understand. It's just business. So... the city produces a pretty good amount of science. Also, it could be pumping out even more resources here. So how many turns are we talking about? Turn 115, our income doubles. So we're at 2017 right now. In another 12 turns, we'll be at like 2,500. So we're only doubling over the last like 700 points. But it's acceleration, right? That said, I don't know that it makes a lot of sense for us to wait to make deals. I am concerned. I mean, maybe. I don't know. Let's have a look at like some of the other players, especially like red, a player who does not have a lot of who does not represent much of a danger to us. Like, what if I traded you a whole lot of technologies, and in exchange you gave me every valuable thing you have? Yeah, I'll take all of these. I don't need your gold or your pearls. I don't actually want your tech. So I guess I do want your gold or your pearls because this is the only way to add more cost to this thing. And a trick we can do here is we can pull these down to 1 yield each. I'll take the whole stack of gold because the term is what introduces the cost. 1 grass silk and 2,000 grass silk have the same influence cost on the table. So that's 1,200 points of influence. Successful deal. Which, as you can see here, maybe it'll get buffered at the beginning of the next turn, but that'll produce diplomatic points for us. At a rate of, I think it's 1 diplomatic point per 10 influence that I spent on the deal. So 120 extra Diplo points, you know, obviously is pretty significant, and we need to be able to do that. I was kind of hoping we were going to get this tech done faster. I'm a little nervous about our position. So I might go making another big deal like that with a player who represents no threat to us. Okay, again, I don't actually want your tech. 108 glass steel. Jeez. And then I think from here, why don't we ask for a single unit of everything else? So you can see this victory type is way more abstract than the other ones, and it does incentivize some pretty weird behavior. Like, technically, I suppose, if we didn't have any value for any of this stuff, the right thing to do is to ask for 1 unit of everything, and then come back to them and make the same deal again, and then make the same deal again, and just ask for 1 unit of everything over and over again. I don't think that's going to be necessary. And we can actually use some of this stuff, right? Like the extra titanium and the extra adamantium will actually do things for us. I wish they had more mithrite to take, but, you know, mithrite's high value. We understand why they don't. Give me more of this. Oh, we still don't even have imperial funding in this city. Yeah, give me more of that as well, please. Hooray for trading for large amounts of titanium. So we can't even buy out your burrow. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, you can. I think you can see why this victory type does not exist in exactly this form in any of the future, endless games. But I still really like the idea of it. I like the idea of, like, I feel like what a lot of the victory types in Endless Legend ask you to do is prove that you are enough of a power broker that you could get any arbitrary task done. And it's like, once you've shown that you have that level of resource mastery, we don't need to make you actually do something. That would be just playing out the streak, you know, like we know you win, so let's just call it. Which I think is, you know, that's a design that I appreciate a lot. It's true, I did increase my titanium to 29. Investigate 2 more ruins on land for 640 influence. You know, those quest rewards scale very nicely into the late game. Yeah, well, I don't know. We're not going to level up enough to really take advantage of that skill. Okay, the vision embargo is a little tiny bit too late. I did already commit. Gosh, I hope I haven't just, like, walked purple into a thresher. It can't be the case, though, right? Like, we know that Blue's army is powerful. But yeah, I was going to say, like, the problem is that Purple is also fighting Pink, but Pink's army is, like, negligible. And also, Purple's army did that somehow. What the hell happened between the beginning of the video and now that makes that even feasible? All right, let's just keep buying stuff out. Hopefully we can accelerate this this victory tech by a couple of turns. Would be neat. A turn or 2 would be acceptable. Okay, and if we jump over to this screen, there we go. You can see there is now a bunch of points in the buffer. There is a limit to the number of points that come out of the buffer into your actual victory point account per turn. So you can't just, like, a diplomatic point bomb on the last turn, you know, get to 2,000 and then just do 1,200 points of trading all at once. So it does behoove us to make smaller deals over time as we approach. For right now, there's no reason for us to do anything, right? We need to wait. We need to wait for our buffer to drain. And I don't know what sets the rate of buffer drain, if that's just like an player size, or I'm assuming there's nothing we can do to scale up the rate at which stuff comes out of there. So let's just let it flow for the moment. Yeah, probably Probably, how long does it take to build stockpiles? Okay. We can probably shorten this by some turns with a proper Royal University output in a couple of these cities. Okay, here's one that's going to finish next turn. It's such a bummer that my city... If there's a situation like this, I wish it would automatically sort your city's banner to the top. Although I guess there are situations where you'd be annoyed that that was how that worked. And always keep an eye on the stockpile thing. So do we have any sense of movement? Getting vision embargoed by both players in this war does make things a little awkward. We can use our spy, of course, to reestablish movement. But honestly, even just the declaration of war may have been enough to get blue to some level of distraction. Maybe not enough to make them stop building the temple in favor of building armies, but at least enough to make them stop building stockpiles in some of their cities in favor of building armies, right? Like, all we need to do is distract them some. Sure. Put together more... You know what? Actually, more impassioned preacher. That's a good thing to have. You, in fact, do get the bonus food. And Unwin Waybridge, I don't know. I guess extra resources from resource deposits. It is a shame that it's really hard to move a Broken Lord's hero into what do you call it? That good skill that everybody has access to. Sorry, did you have more than 1 point? This thing, Inspirational Leader. It's a shame that it's so hard to get Broken Lords into Inspirational Leader. Nobody finds Robot Vampire Zombie inspirational. I find it inspirational. I will never understand my subjects. You know, they're baffling. Okay, so, for sure. Okay, if we had stockpiles to fire every single turn, if we could get this down to 8 turns. It's not honestly that impressive. That'll be too slow to matter. So we should do things that matter in a larger term sense. The city, we're just building out toward those things. We may as well buy that out. If I wanted to build another one of these here, it would take 9 turns, which is too long. Oh, you don't even have... Yeah, get this done. That'll contribute something. So yeah, we're probably not going to be able to accelerate this very much. It's just an unfortunate matter of course. Oh, I ran out of dollars. Well, that's fine. And we don't know what kind of industry position the roving clans are in. Actually, you know what? We actually can make a reasonable guess, though. They're at 6% on their Wonder Victory. And I believe this number has not updated for the turn that we're about to go into yet. So we shall see. Okay, so they're making like 4% per turn. It's hard to know to what degree we have slowed them down with the war shenanigans. It's possible that they were just never going to get it done very quickly. This might matter. Didn't matter. In fact, I see. I was going to say, all of a sudden, we're doing the thing more slowly than we were before. But yeah, that'll be why. There is no Dust Orchid available, which is a real bummer. But we can certainly Moonleaf through the end of the tech at least. Dust Orchid's tough to get a hold of. Who was it that had some last time? Was it you? You don't have very much, though. Does anyone? You. Okay. It would be great if I could get 35 of these. And I'm willing to trade you a lot of things in exchange. I'll go pretty big on this. We can make a big deal. Uh, we can trade off, I think, pretty much all of this stuff. I'm not gonna go actually all of this stuff. Let's make sure we maintain a little bit for the purposes of actually building. Let's say 125 here, and then I must have something else you want. Everybody loves dye for some reason. Okay, I'll give you 15 pearls at this point. We produce so much grass silk, that seems fine. And, oh, blood crystal. That's actually helping the war effort. Can I take back my pearls? Yeah. Yeah, they'll actually use the blood crystal to kill blue, so. And that'll be more points in the buffer, too. Okay, there we go. Nothing has really changed shape at all here, unfortunately. Yeah, we're still, even with the super boosted output, still 7 turns away from the thing. So unfortunately, it's looking like this is just how long this is going to take. And I don't know, I'm out here scavenging for pearls, I guess. There is that cheap pearl building that gives plus 10% science to a city that we could put together if we had more pearls. I'm fairly sure we can't do it now, right? Because I think it's 10 to buy the tech, and then 10 to make the building. So I would need someone's pearls. I should have traded some pearls off somebody. Well, at this point, it's so unlikely to matter. I think we can probably just move on. I would love to do an Imperial News Network here, but, you know. Alright, that's another 39 science. It's not even that expensive, really. So that would be 3182. Okay. Let's just save up dust for that a little bit. Okay, that city burned down. And Khazar became neutral. There's motion actually occurring in this war. Okay, that's not a real concern. If Blue's gonna win, that's not how they're gonna do it. Vision embargo from Red is not a big deal. Cold War from Purple is a big deal and has to be fixed. This is insane. What are you talking about? Purple, come on now. You know how this goes. I'm gonna put this on the table and you're gonna be like, gee, I don't know, and then I'm gonna do this thing. Why even force my hand? That undoes their vision embargo as well, it turns out. Yeah, okay. It looks to me like Purple's probably going to win this war. That's my suspicion. Can I do anything of value here with my spy? I guess I sort of don't want to. I wanted information, and if I had put down the spy through sheer luck in the city that had the wonder building, then we could try to mess with that. Oh, you know what? That spy's reassignment cooldown is probably available. Let's jump to. I can't see Umalna. Perusk is right on the front. It's hard to know where I think it's gonna be. Actually, can I steal vision? No, steal vision requires level 3. Which it will take 5 turns to build up here. Oh, you're locked for 1 more turn anyway. Okay, never mind. Maybe next turn what we do is we try to negotiate off the vision embargo. And then we can try to guess where to. Yep, see, they have started building units instead of stockpiles. We are definitely having the right effect, or rather, Purple who we are wielding is definitely having the right effect. Gosh, they are producing a terrifying amount of units very, very quickly, though. Look at filling the garrison of this city every turn. I mean, we know they're producing a huge amount of dust, right? There's a lot of buyouts going on. What if 14 more flat science? Hooray! So we can't burrow again. That's a shame. There's one more thing to claim here. We'll be able to in 4 turns, I suppose. I guess for right now, begin work on this. It's unlikely to have much effect. You don't even have any pearls we can grab or anything. I guess just like kind of get central, and you know, if winter starts, we can maybe get some pearls out of it. All right, you're building a stockpile that will help out a little bit. Probably don't have the dust to buy any of this stuff out. Okay, so we'll probably just wait on the buyouts for a turn. Keep checking the market periodically to see about new stockpiles. I hate the part where you're just waiting. It makes me feel helpless. Is Purple sieging their own city somehow? What is happening here? Where's the blue army that is responsible for these flags? Because that's a purple army. I don't know. This might be a visual error. Oh yeah, people should build things in cities. I'm a staunch believer in the idea that our production queues should be doing things. So it's hard to know, right? Like, so much of what's going on in the heads of the AI players is sort of like in a black box. And especially in the early game, you don't even know what the situation on the ground is, so it's really, really, really hard to guess what is driving any of the things they do. So I don't exactly know why we have received as little pushback as we have. It seems like, for the most part, the other players are content to just ignore me, right? And get on with their business. And I think they're going to find that was not a very good play. But I don't know how to actually, it looks like this is probably going to finish too slowly to matter. But also nothing else is going to matter either. This could matter. Yeah. We managed to get the ability to force peace. But we did it pretty slowly, I think, and it absolutely could have been the case that somebody declared war on us prior to that. And it may just be like a lot of luck in that the other players were harassing each other in the right ways, such that we never really looked like... It was never the case that anybody had time to pick on us. Because we were definitely weak through some of this game. I mean, we had military units, were certainly less weak than I have allowed us to be in other games, but... yeah, I have no idea how much of us not getting interfered with very much was me making good plays and how much of it was, like, blind luck, basically. It's hard to know a thing like that. Okay, let us gather pearls. And yes, this is going to require a tiny bit of lava walking. Okay, revision embargoed. We are once again fully confused. It probably doesn't matter. I just like knowing what's going on. Alright, back across the lava the other way. I do feel like the flying units should probably not take lava damage. Let's end our turn here so that I can heal. Right. I was gonna try to. Also, our buffer's empty, so I should do something about that. I would love to refresh our vision exchange if that's cool with you. You only want science technologies, which I am reluctant to give you for sure. Well, you know what? With the amount of time that is left before our victory, there's no way that they have time to take advantage of this. Yeah, I don't think so, at least. So, recentered here so that I could potentially go for some pearls. And then, lo and behold, there's the pearls. We may as well buy access to Nyctalopian lenses. And at this point, all we're doing is trying to get, like, one extra turn off of the, off of that technology. It's not impossible. And the good news is Nyctalopian lenses are very, very cheap. Yeah, it's 200 dust buyout. Obviously, the bottleneck here is going to be the pearls, actually. We can do a couple more, because this is an early game building. But it scales very well, as percentage-based stuff is going to tend to. It also gives you a vision bonus on your cities, and I don't talk enough about the importance of that kind of passive vision. I rarely build watchtowers and stuff. I suspect that may be a thing that changes as we try to play up on the higher difficulty, because making the right decision is very, very important. And it's much easier to make the right decision if you have the information. Oh, right. I didn't actually tell my ship to move. Somebody's done some damage to this sea monster. What is this? Ah, yes, that's true. I did not, in fact, host the surprise party. The roving clans have reclaimed Khazar, which is fine. It's not a big deal. Sadly, we only got enough pearls for one more set of lenses. Okay, our boat can get some stuff. You are not fast enough to catch us, which is wonderful news. And then I have 4.2k dust, so I guess? Yeah, like that's science, that matters. This is science, okay. Where do I think that wonder is being constructed? Let's try Holkaj. Holkaj it's relatively far from the front, and it has a high population. See, this city has more forest and stuff, though. You know what? Yeah, I'm going to try this city. Well, nope, definitely not building a wonder. Alright, there's that second victory notification there. Hopefully people don't get too upset with us. It doesn't seem like they're jumping to the saber. Okay, Setsuke has spawned appropriately in this area. Oh wow, yeah. Okay. Good for us in the sense that it will be very distracting. So like convincing purple and blue to go to war with each other serves a lot of purposes for us, actually, and to be perfectly honest with you, it's a move that I almost certainly should have made before I made it, like long before I made it, because it means that they both have something to do to occupy them, to keep them from building up a ton of military force and then looking for a new place to apply it, which round about the time I generate the second victory notification turns out to be my face, right? As long as they're both distracted like this, it's very, very good for us. Okay. Finally, this city can produce boats. These should get bought out. Care about these. Over here. Yeah, we should definitely build one of those. That seems important. Everybody just keep doing a science as hard as you can. And our point buffer is empty again. So let's go make a sale. You don't want my new tech. I have a real cheesy idea. This is a thing that's a little tedious to do, but what if I trade you one of everything I own in exchange for one of some things that you own? We won't get a very good deal out of this, in terms of actual trade value, but it does put all the terms on the table. Now, had we optimized for... Oh, right, you can't trade back anything that you're trading out, so we sort of... I think this will still give us 30 points of buffer, though. I think. So yeah, if we had been optimizing hard for science, could we have won like a science victory, one of the other internal victory types, faster than we're going to win this one? I don't know, maybe. Like, I don't think that the diplomatic victory is terribly powerful. I don't think it's much, I don't think it's out of step with the other internal victory types at all. It does require a little bit more finicky finagling type stuff. And then on top of that, it's just like, ooh, I didn't consider this. This is danger. It's just a little bit boring to actually execute it, like with your hands. So that's why I don't do it very much. But I did want to show it at least once during the series. In general, if we're pushing toward a victory, I will prefer to do a different victory type. Oh, and then we got this. Sure. And over here in Artem, more bodies. Artem gets a cargo dock. Hooray! So, interesting. Oh, right. Well, the buffer's beyond what we... Right, we'd have to put 60 points in. We can gain 30 points per turn, and then after that, they go in the buffer. So, let's hold off, though, on doing it. Well, I mean, I guess there's no sense in not making a deal, though, because of the way the buffer works. We should do something. But yeah, like you're very encouraged to do the goofy thing that I'm doing here, which is like... Now, a lot of people, for something like this, for something that's like very abstract and a little bit violating the theme of the game, they like to use the word gamey as a pejorative. I don't necessarily think there's anything wrong with something being gamey. That is to say, sort of piercing the fiction and feeling like a game mechanic. Because it is a game mechanic, and I think it's fine to, be honest with yourself about what you're doing. But it is a little bit of a bummer when it's also tedious. Gamey and tedious are not necessarily synonyms, but they certainly are here. So purple's purple's drawing up on some kind of victory pretty quickly. I imagine they'll get their science victory before they would get anything else, but they're really not that far off of it. And at this point, with 3 technologies, they definitely have the science tech, right? I have to imagine it was one of the first 3. It's very... I don't know how else they would do that. So, you know, there's some concern there. They're putting together a real victory threat, and we're probably like 10 turns or fewer from them winning the game in that way. So we are going to need, very badly, this double diplomatic points thing. So let me make sure we're actually getting those points. Okay, yeah, you can see plus 65 this turn. So that's the 41 from our normal things plus only 24 from this deal that we paid 320 for it, right? So maybe the rate is even, yeah, it looks like maybe the rate of conversion's a little bit worse than I thought it was. Well, we can do the same thing to somebody else. We just give you some resources. We don't need to do it quite as hard here. Let's make sure we're getting these points. Oh. I guess I didn't click in one of those text fields, so when I hit enter to lock in the thing, it entered to pass the turn. And the fact that I think that this is like not a super exciting victory condition and that it's not really faster than the other internals, that doesn't mean that I think it has no use in actual play. There are situations where, you know, a science victory may not be available to you, but this particular internal victory condition is, or like, I'm not trying to be too dismissive of it. All right, so we've just generated yet another victory notification. So everybody's fully aware that we are doing it. We're going after it. I think by this point they knew. Sure. Get even better at spying. Oof. Even with the optimizations we've made for game speed, it is still a little herky-jerky here. There's just a lot happening. Absolutely not. For a single point of mithrite, she says. I have this entire mithrite with your name on it. One thing that is really interesting that we could note is that we've hardly been spied on at all this game, despite the fact that we were neighbor with green, which does sort of back up my theory that the reason things have gone so smoothly for us is that all of the other players are extremely busy with each other. Okay, so we are at 2742. We have 85 points coming in right now. That's the 41 points that we're normally entitled to, doubled, plus 3 points from last turn that didn't fit in the buffer. We need to hit 3250. So obviously we're in a very, very good shape to do so. And we're just going to go do this thing again. Because it allows me to put 20 terms on the table, which is 320. You know what? I have pearls. Look at that. 21 terms on the table. Nope, 1. And I gotta be careful this time to make sure the cursor actually appears when I click, because I do not want to fast forward the turn before making sure this deal gets in. And also, I don't actually want to give you my everything. Oh, that's interesting. It produced 2 copies of the Pixie Blood term. Why did it do that? And removing one of them removed them both. I wonder what would have happened if I had... I'm sure it's because of the fact that the game was in sort of a hitchy state while I was clicking everything in. I wonder what would have happened if I had fired the deal with an illegal term on the table like that. And then... Here, I'm going to give you a bunch of stuff as well. Because you and I are pals, right? We're buddies. There's no button for put one of each term on the table. Which again underlines the fact that this is perhaps not the intent. Maybe the designer was not thinking that this is what you would want to do. Nope, that's not. Okay. Sometimes it deletes the current amount when you click in the box, and sometimes it immediately refills it. I assume probably due to changing quantities of that thing, but on their side. It's just not smart enough to realize that I don't care about the changing quantities of the thing on their side. Okay, so if we refresh this, all right, we're pulling 133 right now with 51 from the buffer, which means there's room for a little bit more value, right? Sorry, yeah, no, I don't want your dust orchid. What I want is to give you just a little bit of everything I've ever owned. Just a tiny, tiny bit. So, I mean, okay, we're going to end up winning the game in the late 110s. So actually, this is turning out to be a little bit faster than our previous internal victories. Maybe it is the case that you could execute this routinely faster than a science victory, perhaps, but I think you'd have to get pretty lucky in the way that we have been lucky, where people have mostly left us alone and allowed us to sort of run our own deal. Okay, yeah, so now we're emptying as much as we can from the buffer this turn. 142 diplomatic points per turn is our theoretical maximum here. And then there's really not a ton of pearls left. I left some of the smaller deposits, like this 1 and this 2 up here behind. Oh, sorry, it's a 3. That's my bad. But I suppose we ought to go get him, especially since we may want to trade those pearls. It does sort of look like... Oh no, it's still moving. I was going to say, it does look oddly like the lava froze over with the winter, which it's not. It's not impossible, I suppose, but you have to be mighty cold. All right, how's the war going? And also, we should definitely check in on... Oh, interesting. Pink has lost some territory, it looks like, but also maybe gained some... Was it Uska? Wait, where was the edge of their... Aldodev was blues until last turn, right? I'm pretty sure that's true. So yeah, okay, we've screwed up blue's whole thing in a fairly serious way here. Please do not stop the boost. They've gotten to 41% on their wonder. I'm doing a terrible job of figuring out where that is. Okay, purple. This is the part. Purple is now definitely too late, realizing that being in alliance with us is a bad move. But they just can't. They can't get out fast enough for it to matter. We have 2,000 influence coming in per turn. We're absolutely going to be able to just bully them with. And see, this is part of what I really like about influence is the sort of squishiness of its representation. I think a lot of people view a thing that doesn't map clearly to a mechanic that doesn't map clearly to a specific idea as sort of weak design, that's very squishy. But I actually think it's really good because there is this odd idea of cultural power that I don't want to say the people of the culture, but sort of that the culture itself exerts both on itself and on its leaders, and affects the kinds of decisions that are available to them effectively, while also affecting the way the people in other cultures feel about that culture and the way they exert pressure on their own leaders. And it's a big kind of poorly understood social phenomenon, and I think influence does a really good job of representing both here and maybe even more in Endless Space 2, representing that sort of weird amorphous soft power that no person or people are wielding on purpose, but is like a sort of a pressure that they are unconsciously creating. Well, I shouldn't say some people wield it on purpose. I think mostly people don't, but people who are like very immersed in culture war stuff definitely do wield it intentionally from time to time. So again, we must just give away small amounts of things. And to be perfectly honest, maybe this doesn't sort of like break the mechanics flavor contract. I mean, obviously the amounts here are tough to understand. Whatever, 2 is fine. But, this represents like we're giving aid, right? We're giving small amounts of a lot of different kind of aid. You assume that one Titan bone is not like a single skull. The scales we're talking about here must be greater than that. So I don't know. Maybe this all does make some kind of flavorful sense. It just makes flavorful sense without making mechanical sense, which is a weird. It's not usually the way that works. So we're just gonna make sure we're pulling our full allotment of Diplo points every turn. I don't think. I do think that it is the case that we could probably just lay off and win off of 82 Diplo points per turn before anybody else gets to where they're going. But I'm a little nervous about purple. Okay, so let's refresh that screen. Okay, we are pulling the maximum amount out of the buffer this turn. So it's only going to take us another couple of turns of doing that. And purple's at where now? Purple's still at 60. Although one has to assume that this being flat for any amount of time at all does represent them researching the 4th tech, because what would they not finish in a single turn, right? And to that extent, maybe we should just be working on another victory tech as well. Because what would we not finish in a single turn? So that's going to put us north of 3K, right? Yes, we're going to 3250. We need to generate like 115 this turn and 115 next turn to win. And we cannot do it in one, no matter what. My spy has reached infiltration level 2. The Moonleaf and the Dust Orchid have run out, but at this point I don't care. And for the same reason, we're not really putting very much effort into... You know what? Sure. Go ahead. Not really putting the same effort into building stuff anymore, because it's kind of like, yeah. Oh, did I get sea monstered again? I sure did. Thing is remarkably persistent. Just trying to gather pearls, That's all I want in the world. Pearls, for the purpose of giving them to my friend. Red is still leery. They do not trust us. Even after all of these gifts, even after years of peace between our peoples, even after I made no attempt to murder you off of my island. My island, the island I warned you not to settle on because I wanted it for me, and you did it anyway. It's been nothing but friendship between our peoples, and still the glances, still the paranoia. I'm starting to think that you don't view me very highly. Here, Red. Is that enough? 104. 104 is not... I mean, yes. 104 is fine. Because that'll take us to 3130, and then we can generate 120. Yeah, we're good. It's fine. I'm just going to hit the button. I'm going to make sure to hit this button. I think our ship's far enough away from the sea monster, but I do also know that it is just going to chase me around the ocean for spite. The sea monster is attracted to the player's units way more than it is attracted to the AI units. for reasons that are, you know, semi-mysterious. So yeah, if nothing else, this situation has been a good distraction. Purple's not making progress as quickly as I had hoped. Now, you know what's really fun here is in a second, everybody's going to win the game except the necrophages, which I do think is very funny. Okay, so 31-31. We need to increase our victory point income slightly here. So let's just give a little bit more aid. I could have maybe rigged up a mouse macro or something for this, because I knew this was going to happen. I've done this thing before. Okay, it tried to end the turn on me again there. This is a weirdly imprecise process for it just being you entering text into... Yeah, see, it keeps resetting the value in the field. Weirdly imprecise process for it just being entering a small amount of text into a field, which, as far as I know, in terms of computing, is, you know, something of a solved problem. And I've been a software developer. I try very hard not to oversimplify, because I know everything is way harder than it seems. But entering text into fields is kind of that one we kind of have down for real. Although you'd never know it from the way some people build their web forms. Okay, this deal is gonna push us pretty close, right? If we refresh this screen, we're now pulling 125. Yeah, that's sufficient, right? It is 3250, I'm not misremembering. Yes. Okay, so yeah. Out of curiosity, has Purple finished their next tech yet? That's a very dark number. I think that, yeah, it is an 8, right? Research. Yes, so they're starting Tech 5 this turn. And who knows how long it'll take to get it. Based on what they've done these last couple of turns, it seems like probably not very much, is my guess. We are legitimately probably 2 or 3 turns from losing this game. And, you know, in a sense, Purple does win anyway. They just win. They win a secondary victory. They win a small, what we might say, a child-sized victory. It's something. You know, they can all be excited. The necrophages can go to hell. They're the only people who don't win. See, look at this. This is what happens when we all work together to funnel resources into my coffers. Let's go to the score screen. Let's just look at some graphs real quick before we call it for the day. Again, another remarkably close one. I know sometimes these internal victory games do not necessarily feel like they have a lot of action. There's a certain kind of 4X player who is just like, the game is all military and all of the other systems exist as a way of sort of like supporting the military play. But we've actually had a couple of kind of like nail biters recently. What's your science output? Yup, that makes sense. 33. Okay, I thought we were doing well. Also, out of curiosity, yes, this makes sense. So we were producing a fair amount. That's pretty good, but yeah, it's certainly nowhere near 11,000. Purple got really big and really powerful there, and they hesitated a little bit, I think, on... You can see the turn we made that deal with Red. They hesitated a little bit on their converting it all into victory, but yeah, they were going to win the game by about... What turn was that? Does it Does it say that here? I don't remember what turn it was. It was like 114 or 115, right? They were probably going to win the game by turn 120. That was a legitimate push from them. All right, well, that's going to be it for us for today, and thank you all so much for watching. We have 2 factions left, if my braining is correct, and I'm going to tell you right now, we're doing Allow You last. We're going to play Vaulters next, because I am saving the Allow You. They are my dessert. I just love them so much. So when you come back next time, tomorrow, we're going to be starting a game as the Vaulters, the survivors of the descendants of the people who originally crashed into the planet in Dungeon of the Endless, which, by the way, if you have not played it, is a great game. It's very, very cool and fun, very unusual mechanics, super neat art, and something that they're currently developing a sort of a spiritual sequel to over at Amplitude right now, which is something I am massively excited for. So yeah, that's going to be it for us for today, though. Thank you all so much for watching. Sometimes friendship is the only weapon you need. Also, the ability to breathe fire. When you come back next time, tomorrow, probably significantly more fighting. And we'll see you then.